Hey there, it's Arlene here from Pennies to Plenty. And today I want to share with you another audio blog post. This post today is probably one of my most popular on my website, and it's the very first one I wrote about selling on Poshmark. It's called 15 More Tips for How to Become a Top Seller on Poshmark. So, besides blogging, one of my favorite hobbies is to sell things online. And a few months before I wrote this post, I posted 5 tips to sell clothes online. Because that did well, I've had several more tips on my mind and I want to share them. So I plan on writing 10 tips, but ended up with 15 before I even realized it. And that's why I want to share them with you. Now, before we go on, if you are new to Poshmark, it's an online marketplace for buying and selling clothes, accessories, and some other things. It was originally branded as a secondhand marketplace to buy women's clothing at discounted prices, but it's since pushed into retail, boutique, and it's expanded to sell men's and children's clothing and things like that. So, if you're interested and you don't have a Poshmark account, you can sign up with my code SFGirl2015. That's SFGIRL 2015, and you'll receive a $10 bonus for free. Now let's move on to those 15 tips. The first one is to list your best items at the top of your page. You want to put your best items at the top so that they're the first thing that people see when they arrive on your page or your closet. These items are the ones that are most likely to be shared if people are reciprocating your shares, because they don't want to have to scroll down and search for your best items. Now, for potential buyers, they'll hopefully like what they see at the top of the page enough to scroll down and keep checking out more of your items. These best items can be designer items, items from popular brands, items that are new with tag, and other items that are in great condition. So some examples might be a Free People dress or a really popular Coach purse that's in excellent condition. Whatever sells well, put it at the top. And tip number two is to use a template. So you can use a template to list faster. And if you don't have a written one, go ahead and at least have one mentally. So when I see listings that include no or very minimal description, I wonder how a buyer can have confidence in what they're getting. They don't know because there's no description there. So you want to give your buyers confidence by including as much detail as possible. And it really helps to use a template to cover all your bases and for time. My template always includes the item's condition. I will say something like it's an excellent or good condition, as well as any flaws or unique details about the item. I like to include the item size and also measurements. I used to say no trades because I used to get a lot of requests to trade items. I don't get that so much anymore. And when I do, I just say write back no trades, but you can customize your template to include information that's important to you or your buyers. Some people like to put, bundle 3 items for $25. They put that in their listings. If you like that, go ahead and put it in your template. Tip number 3, share your items and other Poshers items at parties. Poshmark now hosts 4 parties a day, with each party focusing on a category, a theme, or a few brands. So share your items. Sharing items to these parties is a great way to get exposure for your items because you'll likely reach people who aren't your followers. People who are at the party will be active in sharing too, so you'll likely see an uptick in the number of items of yours that are shared. Just be sure to share back if you can. Tip number 4, share your own listings too. I remember starting out on Poshmark thinking that I was supposed to share other people's listings and not my own. Nothing could be further from the truth. While it's good to share other people's items, don't be afraid to share your listings as much as you can too. I haven't read any official recommendations for the best times of the day to share listings. From my own use, I think people are most active early in the morning before work and during the day, Monday through Friday. I see less activity on Poshmark after the last party of the evening, and that makes sense because it's about 12 a.m. Eastern time, which means most people in the US are probably sleeping. And I don't see as much activity on the weekends, especially holiday weekends, as much as on the weekdays. That doesn't mean people aren't online and buying. I have made plenty of sales on the weekends as well, just that people tend to be more active, I think, during the week. Tip number 5 is to request to become a Poshmark ambassador and party host. Becoming a Poshmark ambassador and hosting party, those are both great ways to gain exposure for your closet. As long as you meet the criteria to become an ambassador, you can become one. And the criteria, there are a number of things you have to meet, but it's something like share 5,000 community listings, sell a certain number of items from your own closet, purchase an item off Poshmark. Most people can get this done in a matter of weeks if they're pretty aggressive about it, and usually within a matter of a few months. Now, you no longer have to wait around hoping that the Poshmark gods will find you to become a party host. That used to be the case, but now you can email the company letting them know of your interest. There's also an application to become a host. If you Google it, you can say Poshmark party host application. It goes to a Google form, and that way you can apply. After you apply, it just takes a few months of waiting, usually until your name comes up, and then you get to host a party. Your profile and your closet are shown at the top of a page during a party, so you'll gain visibility that way and from interacting with other poshers during the party. Tip number 6 is to follow thousands of other users. Poshmark thrives on people sharing items. Now, in order for your items to reach as many people as possible, you need to follow as many people as you can. You'll find that many of them follow you in return, and some will even start sharing your items right away. The best way I found to follow people quickly is to go to Poshmark party pages and click on the host followers and then follow them. I run down the list and click away, and you can end up following hundreds of people in a few minutes. While you may not like all of their items filling your feed, it's worth it to market your items and gain sales. There are a few other ways I found to quickly gain followers, and one is to follow celebrity poshers. When their closets come up, there are a lot of people following them, so go ahead and follow their closets as well, and then follow their followers. Those people will hopefully follow you back. Tip number 7 is to curate what you sell. Now, I would bet that most Poshmark users simply want to clean out their closets and declutter their home, so they list whatever they have around the house and are happy to make some money back. If you're looking to sell more goods and earn more money, however, you have to think about what sells well on Poshmark. Most Poshmark users right now are young women, even though that is changing. So seasonal and trendy items tend to sell well. And if you're thinking about obtaining goods to sell in volume, consider whether the potential profit would be worth it to you if you subtract the 20% in seller fees. Would it be worth it to the buyer to purchase these items with the additional shipping costs? Right now, at the time of this, that I'm making this post, shipping is over $7, which is kind of expensive. So this affects what people are willing to buy. Poshmark has recently made more of a push towards selling men's clothing, children's clothing, and other items. Children's clothing are overall cheaper at retail than adult clothes, and the same holds true for the secondhand market. Secondhand children's clothing at thrift stores and online can sell for cents to a few dollars. On Poshmark, items that are a few dollars tend not to bring in much profit due to the 20% seller fees, or $2.95 for items below $15. That said, children's clothes are more frequently bundled than adult clothes, which means it may be easy and worth it to clear out your children's closets. You can try and sell the clothes in a bundle, or if you put a lot of them up, someone may bundle those single items. Go ahead and offer that person a great price, a discount, and sell off those clothes. So if you're selling to get rid of clothes and make a few dollars, kind of like at a garage sale, Poshmark may be worth it. But if you're selling to make a steady and sizable profit, I would say it's difficult to rely solely on children's clothing. Tip number 8 is to offer a bundle discount and use the bundle feature. Poshmark has several ways that you can offer discounts now to buyers. With bundling, there's 2 different ways to do it. One is to set the percentage off a buyer can receive for however many items you decide. So there's a feature where you can say 20% off of 3 items or 30% off of 4 items. And you can activate this with a simple tap, toggling a button on the app. You can publicize it in your listings, in your profile to encourage buyers to shop and turn it on and off whenever you want. Another way is when a buyer adds your items to a bundle, or you add the items to a bundle for them, then you can go talk to the person, make an offer, and negotiate privately there, and also offer a discount. Tip number 9 is to drop prices on payday. I mentioned that Poshmark sometimes offers discounted shipping when you drop prices on items, and that discounted shipping lasts for 6 hours. So you want to drop prices on strategic days and times. Lately, Poshmark has been offering this feature under Closet Clearout where you drop the price and the discounted shipping lasts for 6 hours. It's been going on pretty frequently. I would say even a few times a week. So actually, you have plenty of opportunity to make this happen. But I also like that one of the best times to drop prices are on paydays. Paydays vary, but are frequently weekly or bi-monthly on Fridays, and bi-monthly on the 10th and 25th, or some close variation of that. I've found just from my own experience thrift shopping that it tends to be people buy when it's close to or at their payday and kind of hold off the rest of the month. So if you decrease your prices around the time that they have the money to spend, they're more willing to buy. Tip number 10 is to answer questions in a timely manner. Poshmark and General Etiquette recommends responding to comments and questions within a day if possible. Several times I've been interested in items and asked a question only to get no response. Now, there are a lot of inactive closets on Poshmark, so responding quickly will let potential buyers know that your closet is active and that you're likely to ship in a timely manner too. On a related note, keep in contact with your buyer if needed. If someone buys an item on Saturday and it's a long holiday weekend, send a 1 or 2 line message reminding them that the post office is closed on Monday and that you're going to ship on Tuesday. Then the buyer doesn't think you've slacked on shipping and he or she looks favorably on you for your quick communication and the transaction. Here's tip number 11. Be careful about trading items. While trading items is not strictly against the rules, Poshmark has no way to protect you for the full cost of an item if you do it. I've witnessed people trade expensive items for $3 each plus shipping. The $3 is to generate the shipping label and cover Poshmark's commission. But one person has ended up with a terrible item. It's really sad to see. And Poshmark can only reimburse the person for the $3 purchase price if the item was not as described. So I've seen people really lose out on some great items and a lot of money. Be very careful who you trade with if you decide to do it. Tip number 12 is to approach the wholesale portal cautiously. When the wholesale portal opened in 2015, it created a lot of chatter and the first rounds of items sold out so quickly. The wholesale portal allowed people to buy items at wholesale prices in order to then sell them at retail price higher, making profit. Now, before you decide to do it, here are some things to consider. One is that the wholesale portal prices are pretty high for wholesale goods. The brands offered in the portal are usually relatively small and unknown, which means lower demand and the likeliness of it being purchased. Competition is tough. If reselling on Poshmark, the site is filled with the same product, and you will end up competing against other poshers to sell it. The only way to compete and sell these things is on price. Lowering the price means less profit and maybe even a loss. Now, when selling physical goods, they take up space in your house and ultimately have to be sold or you're stuck with them and may lose money. This isn't a problem if you have a lot of space, but I know a lot of people out there, a lot of poshers, including myself, don't have much space to store stuff and want a quick turnaround of items so that you can get more in and sell more. The portal does offer you items to sell if you don't have easy access to any of your own, but I would really recommend trying to find other ways to find items like thrifting or other online sources before hitting the wholesale portal. Now, to give you a better idea of your possible profit, here's an example of calculations I did for a cute shirt I found. The listing provides 3 shirts at the wholesale price of $54. They say that the manufacturer's suggested retail price is $35 each, or $105 total. If you sell on Poshmark, there's a 20% fee, so your profit would be $84. Now subtract the $54 it cost for the items, and you'd make $30 total. So that's $30 total if you sold all 3 of those shirts at the suggested price, which is highly unlikely. So there's profit to be made, but very much go into it with caution. Tip 13, customize your profile. Customizing your profile on Poshmark can improve your sales. Top fashion bloggers and sellers typically add a picture of themselves as their profile photo. This gives a face to a name, or a username in this case. The next step is to create your Meet the Posher listing. People can easily follow your closet by clicking the little heart, like button, and communicate with you because this listing will not disappear like those for sale items. You can include up to 8 pictures and text in the listing. Highlight things about yourself as well as selling points. Perhaps you offer a bundle discount, you have new products coming soon, you're doing this to fundraise for your children's school, or you donate a percentage of your profits to charity, or even that you have a high Poshmark rating. Add a picture or write about these things to make your profile more personable, more unique, more memorable. Tip number 14 is to perfect your packaging and shipping process. Now you can save time by organizing shipping supplies and perfecting your packaging process. Poshmark uses USPS priority shipping, and thankfully, USPS offers shipping boxes in various sizes for free. If you can't get to the post office to pick them up, go to USPS.com to sign up for an account and have them shipped to you, again, for free. Then determine what works best for you in terms of the steps needed to package items quickly. If you have the space, set aside boxes, scissors, wrapping paper and bags, tape, thank you notes, whatever else you use, and put them within reach while you package. I also try to set aside a short window of time each day to package items all at once versus doing them one by one throughout the day. Finally, if you find going to the post office time-consuming, try scheduling a USPS pickup. I've saved so much time by scheduling pickup instead of trekking to the post office. You can also schedule the pickup for your school or your office if you're not home. If you work in an office, try leaving your packages with the receptionist or in the mailroom. I can say that Poshmark became a lot more enjoyable and required less time and thought once I got a packaging and shipping routine into place. Here's the last tip, 15. Treat selling as a business. When I read articles about people making thousands of dollars selling on Poshmark, I see that they treat selling as a business rather than just as a fun, casual pastime. While a lot more can be said about this, if you want to make big sales too, here are some of the basics to consider. Set aside scheduled time for all the aspects of selling on Poshmark, from acquiring items to listing them to packaging and mailing them. Keep your closet stocked. Poshmark says 10 items is great, and I think 10 quality items is good for a start, but 25, 100, 200, a couple hundred is better. Keep track of your income and expenses. If you have a presence on social media, share your listings there, Instagram, Twitter, or Pinterest. All of those ways that fit with your persona, share them on those platforms. Remain professional towards lowballers, scammers, and any other difficult people you come across. And the last thing is to remember to enjoy it. And that's why I continue to sell on Poshmark today, and hopefully that's part of the reason you do too. After writing these 15 tips, I still have so much more to say about selling on Poshmark and online in general. So I will share those with you in a future post. I hope you enjoy this one for now. If you have other tips you'd like to add, please go ahead and share them. I'd love to hear. Talk to you soon. Bye.